Hi, my name is Fernetta Banks. This is my TIE 533 data presentation. For my data presentation, I wanted to use an Excel spreadsheet to show our improvement of data for Scantron testing. We take Scantron testing 3 times a year, and I decided to use the scores from the first test and the last test in order to see where our incoming students would be coming or what level they will be on in the fall. So in order to even get the data from Scantron, we have to actually log on to Scantron sites. And in Scantron, we can pull up only our grade. It won't allow us to pull up any other grades. So we pull up our own grade level information, and then we export that information from Scantron over to Excel. And after we do the exporting, then the formatting takes place, because when it exports over, everything is all crumbled together. So we use Excel. So for instance, when I added a title, so you add your title in, and then you can go up to the top, and whatever preference you like with whatever you how would you however you would like it to look, you just click on it. However, how wide you would like it or how large you would like it, you just click on that number. So that's your title. And then, of course, the students for this class, I had to edit my students' names out, but the teachers would keep their names in, have their scale score, what they got for the fall. Scale score would be what they got for the spring. And then it gives a difference of both of those scores. So, of course, we want our students to be in the positive. And notice here, this is a third grade class, and I have a couple of students that's in the negative. So more than likely, those are the students that we're going to really be working with, unless they were already on level and maybe they dropped a couple of points. So for the data part, I started off with, because I want to know which students are in warning, which ones are below, which ones are on level, and which ones are above level. So I created a nice little formula. I already created it because I knew I wasn't going to have enough time for my presentation to recreate it all over again. So for the first one, you just click on the cell where you would like that formula to be. And I want to do an if formula. So if D4, which is this score right here, the score that they got for the spring, if D4 is less than 2,000, because if they are scoring under 2,000, they are definitely in warning. So if D4 is less than 2,000, they're going to be in warning. But I don't want it to stop there, because you're going to notice in a couple of seconds that when I drag it down, it's going to actually format each cell according to that formula. So if D4 equals 2,000, I want this child to be in warning. If D4 is less than 2,200, he's below level. If D4 is less than 2,600, he's on level. And if D4 is less than 2,800, he's above level. So I click on it. And of course, D4 here is 1931, which is less than 2,000. So he's in warning. Now, the good thing that I like about Excel is I don't have to continue to type that formula all the way down. I could just go to the right hand bottom corner. I can click on it and I can drag it all the way down to my last student. And what's going to happen is the formula is all the way down. It's highlighted all the way down. So all the way to D23, my student in D20 is all there. And my formula goes for each student. So now it's letting me know who's on level, who's below, who's at warning. Then the next thing I did, which the cells are already highlighted, but I'm going to go back over that. I wanted to color my cells. My students that were warning, I wanted to color that. So I go to conditional formatting. And if we were doing this right now as a class, All right, part two of my data presentation for TIE 533. I left off on conditional formatting. So again, I already formatted my cells. If my students are warning, I want red. Below, I want yellow. On level, green, and above level, I want blue. So in order to do conditional formatting, I'm just going to go through the steps of what I did. So I go to highlight cell rule. So my cells, all of my cells will be highlighted. That's first of all. So all of my cells will be highlighted that I would like to be colored. And then I go to conditional format and I'm going to go to highlight cells, go down to text that contains. So I'm not going to redo this because I already did it, but I would type in text that contains warning and it would be red. So what I'm going to actually do now is go down to manage rules just so you can get an idea of how I set up my rules. So this is my manage rules here, and I put in cell value contains. So anything that's below is yellow. Any cells that's warning is red. Any cells that's on above level is blue, and any cells that's on level is green. Again, and if I would like to change something, I could click on it. I can edit my rule. So now maybe I don't want my below students to be yellow anymore. So I'm going to format it and I'm going to change that color. So maybe this time I go to fill. This time I want my students that's below, I want them to be orange instead of yellow. So I click on orange, click OK, click OK, and click apply. And notice, now my students that are below, they are all on orange. So that's a way to format your cells if you want to put color in it. Now the next thing I want to do, I want to put a couple of pivot tables in here. So you would go to insert, click on pivot table, and notice how my whole worksheet basically is highlighted except for my title, because they don't need my title in when they're doing a pivot table. So I want this information to be in a new worksheet, and I'll click OK. So now notice these are all of my columns: my students, my skill score, my test date. So right now I want to see my students, and I want to see their scale score, and I want to see their second scale score for the spring. And notice this is what they gave me over here. They gave me the student and their scores, but this grand total, we don't want them to add up the numbers. So we're going to basically take that out of there. So you're going to right click on grand total, click remove grand total, because we don't want them to add scores up. Okay. And then the next thing I want to do, I want to do something else with this. I want to see which of my students are below level, which of my students are on level. So I'm going to go, because now I think I want to, do a chart now. Oh no. Hold on. So I'm going to go back. I'm sorry. Go back to my original worksheets. Third grade games. And then I'm going to do another pivot table. So insert, pivot table, and I want a chart this time. So, and I want it in the new worksheet again. Click OK. This time I want my students level, and then I want the student name, and then I want the student scale score from the spring, and then, and also, no, just from the spring. And now, but I want it to highlight from level. So I'm going to click on level, and I want it to sort from, I only want above level students. So click on it. Okay. Notice now I only have my above level students. Okay, so notice now I only have my above level students. So I only have 2 students that's above level. So I know I'm going to have to do enrichment with these students. Again, they keep giving us the grand total. So we're just going to right click on that and we're going to remove the grand total. Okay. So, and then what if I want to see my students that are only students that are below level? So I can do my students that's below level, hit OK, and it's going to give me my students that are below level. Notice I only have 3 students that's below level, which is good. So then this time I want to see my students that are on level. Click OK. Great, I have a lot of students that are on level in reading. And then if I want to see my students that are in warning, these are my students that I'm going to have to do intense interventions with. So I only have 3 students that are in warning. So that's another way in order to organize our data and to make it more manageable to use. And this 562, again, they gave us a total. We don't really want that total. Subtotal level, we don't need a subtotal for that. So again, this is just another way to organize our data in order to manage it much better when we're trying to group our students accordingly. Again, that is my presentation for TIE 533. I hope you enjoyed.